There was a lot of talk and build up to the first test match which just ended in Nagpur, and fair to say that the match did not live up to the expectation and to the billing that we all had, given the hype, given all the noise around this period, and given especially the kind of reportage that was being done as far as the pitch at Nagpur was concerned. Certain sections of the media in the West and especially the media in Australia, well, there was a lot of talk that happened around the pitch, but as things turned out, it was the same pitch on which India scored 400 runs, Australia failing to score 200 in the first innings, and in the second not even managing half the runs they scored the first time around. So everything said and done, what is the media in the West and especially in Australia now saying with regards to the pitch? It's the same pitch on which India batted. Let's now bring you reactions, because a lot was being said, especially with regards to what Fox Sports had reported earlier on, blaming the pitch. And it wasn't just Fox Sports, couple of other media outlets as well were saying a lot about the pitch. Sunny Gavaskar, in an exclusive conversation with Sports Day, has also made his comments as far as the pitch goes. So without wasting any more time, let's just quickly tell you on this morning in Australia, what did the people end up reading as on the web, in the print. Let's tell you what the Australian media has now said with regards to the crushing defeat that they had to face in Nagpur yesterday. Starting with what the Sydney Daily Telegraph had to say, well, in the match report that they had published, here's an excerpt of what the tonality of this whole article was, and they went ahead and said that a brutal reality check in their quest for world domination by India's spin masters. This is what the Sydney Daily Telegraph had to say. Of course, they're referring to the Australian cricket team here, because you are looking at the World Test Championship final as well, and Australia right now are on top of the World Test Championship points table. They in all likelihood will be playing India at the Oval in just about a few weeks' time. But having said that, as far as their credentials as world beaters or the #1 test side are concerned, that definitely is getting tested now. And what we saw in Nagpur was a complete wipeout of this Australian side, because they were of no match to India's class and supremacy, and that's what in many ways the Sydney Daily Telegraph has said in their match report. Let's now talk about another publication in Australia, and the Telegraph had to say that the axing of Travis Head looked silly on day 1 and positively stupid on day 3 after Australia's dreadful performance. So again, the similar narrative we are seeing now being projected with what the Telegraph has also said here. Of course, many questions continue to be asked with regards to why that decision was made, but you see how the narrative in a few days time has just changed from these very outlets and many more, questioning the nature of the pitch, many going ahead and saying that the pitch was being doctored after what Steve Smith has said. This is what the media in Australia and in the West is now saying. Also, let's not talk about what the Fox Sports is saying, because Fox Sports, remember, is that outlet, is that media organization that had pinned it down on the Indian curator, on the Indian management, and said that they are producing pitches which only suit them, and that also use the word doctoring and whatnot. A huge storm had been caused in many ways with regards to what Fox Sports had said. And now this morning in Australia, well, they say that the Aussies got in their own head. They cannot afford a repeat. In many ways, going back on what they had said with regards to the pitch, because multiple reports saying that it's the same track on which India batted, scored 400 runs. There was a centurion, there were 2 half centurions, and the spin twins, well, they just made life difficult for Australia. And here, by the way, in many ways, it's an admission of the fact that whatever the narrative was being projected earlier was something that was created by the media in Australia, and that it's that narrative that got into the heads of the Australians, and they visibly didn't turn up right from the first ball that was bowled in that test match. Australians were of no match, and probably it's that off-field conversation with regards to the pitch that had got into their heads, and as a result, they just could not turn up against an Indian side which was extremely dominant in Nagpur, which is why we didn't even see the match go into the 4th day. But having said that, we earlier told you that Sunil Gavaskar, the former Indian captain had spoken exclusively to Sports Ahead, and he too says that there are in many ways Australians got caught in their own words in this whole off-field conversation that was happening around the pitch. They got trapped in that. Let's quickly run you through what exactly he had to say in this exclusive conversation that he had with my colleague Rahul Rawat.
I don't know where and how the pitch was doctored. A lot of times, it's a lot of hearsay. We've been hearing about, how there was an aircraft ready for the Indian team in 2008 when that monkey gate thing happened. Nothing of that was true. There was no aircraft ready for the Indian team. The IPL hadn't started. BCCI didn't have the kind of money to have a chartered flight ready at that stage. But that's the kind of thing that you find with the media, particularly when it comes to the media from Australia and from England. I do believe that we must try and ignore it. And if it has got to go in the print section, anything what the Australian or the English media says, it should go in the comedy section, not in the sports section, not on the sports pages. It should go in the entertainment and comedy pages.
So you heard there from Sunil Gavaskar. He also in many ways saying that all the noise around the pitch that was created, well, it's that noise that ended up costing the Australian side heavily in Nagpur, and for them to get out of this and to turn up against an Indian side which looks very good at the moment, well, it's going to be a long it's going to be a long shot for them, and they'll have to come a long way from where they find themselves right now. But 3 more test matches. We head to now the national capital, which is where the second test match will take place, and we'll have to see if Australia can set aside all of these controversies, set aside the off-field talk, and really focus on their game. We'll have to wait and see how the test match and this test series now just pans out to be. For now, that's all the time that we have. Thank you so much.